All right, stepping back into the Colosseum this week with another guest. Really dope individual. I've known this man for a few years now. Learned a lot of stuff about him just now, even in the pre-interview conversation before we got started. So it's gonna be really dope to sit down with this young man. But before we get started, as always, podcast, the Colosseum is brought to you by the Mason Johnson Beard Care line, the Gentleman's Collection, softest beard care products you're gonna come across in terms of making your beard soft, healthy, moisturize everything you need for your beard. The Mason Johnson Beard Care line. Also, the Zeus pre-workout, most intense pre-workout you can ever come across. I promise you, it's gonna take you there, but also not have that crash afterwards. Intense focus, intense drive, intense workouts. The Zeus pre-workout. So here we are today in the Colosseum. We have a gentleman that a lot of people know just as Forward Steel. That's all they know about him. All right, but I'm gonna try to introduce you guys to this guy, get a little bit more personal side of who he is. First things first, his actual name. All right, a lot of people don't know this. This brother goes by the name of Odinga. All right, pretty fucking powerful name if you ask me. Odinga Mason. All right, brothers, I want to appreciate welcome you to the podcast. A few things about him so far. Most recently, the Georgia NPC trainer or / coach of the year. I like to say coach of the year because of my personal opinion. He's a fucking badass coach. This man currently has 25 bodybuilders on his roster. But aside from bodybuilding coach, he also does lifestyle coaching as well. Of those 25 bodybuilders, he has 8 pros. All right, that's a lot to be said. If you know anything about bodybuilding coaching or know anything about bodybuilding in general, you have people who chase pro cards for years and some people never get them. This guy has turned several people pro in a very short period of time. Great coach. Been coaching since 1996. All right. The cool thing about him as well, he's also been a competitor. Some coaches compete. They do fairly well. This guy has 3 overall top finishes, all right, as a competitor. So welcome you guys, or shall I say introduce you guys to Odinga Mason of Forward Steel Fitness. Appreciate it, brother.
Hey, so, man, thank you for having me here, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you, bro. I reached out to you, man. Actually, we should do the interview. I thought it'd be a dope interview for a couple different reasons. Number one, you're kind of that person, kind of that shadow, all right? And if you go to any bodybuilding competition in Georgia especially, but pretty much anywhere in the country, you're going to probably see this fella there, but you might not hear very much from him, all right? Because he's always going to be kind of in the cut, chilling. So I kind of call him a shadow, all right? Because he's just there. He's just lurking around, but he knows his shit.
Back.
He's in the back, exactly.
Always.
I was introduced to his brother a few years ago, I think 2018, at the Lee Haney Games. Mutual friend of ours introduced us. The day I met him, very quiet, didn't have much to say. He shook my hand. That was about it. All right. A couple years later, he ended up being my nutritionist. All right. As a powerlifter, knows a lot about nutrition. I knew what he did for bodybuilders, but I had no clue what he did for powerlifters until I started talking to him and learned he had a powerlifting background as well, which we'll talk about. But yeah, man, you came on the show without question, so I definitely appreciate it. So before we get started, let us know where you're from, bro. Like, where did you start? I always like to ask that first question out of the gate for people because everybody has a very interesting upbringing, a story. And I could tell from your accent you're not from here. So you might be give us a little bit of information on who you are, where you're from.
I'm from Guyana. Guyana is in South America. Although it's in South America, it's actually considered a Caribbean country. And we're the only people in South America that speak English, British English, that is. I started powerlifting in, I think it was 86. It was after an Olympics. I had seen this guy who was a weightlifter. They used to call him the Pocket Hercules. And I think he had either snatched or clean and jerk for a world record. The weight was like 3 times his body weight. And he couldn't be more than 4'10", 4'11". And that shit messed me up. I was in the gym the next day. The very next day I was in the gym. I was like, I want to do some stuff like that. But I just ended up in powerlifting because the gym that I went to at that time, it had either powerlifters or weightlifters. And it was like really, really, really old school. Mm-hmm. So, I started off from there, but they had another gym in the city that had another group of people. And they had one guy in that group used to beat me in my class every single year. I could not beat that dude for nothing. He was like He was a mixed guy. He was mixed with Native Indian and Black. That dude is hands down one of the strongest people I've ever known in that era. And I was like, they used to be beating me, and our gym used to hate on that gym. And I started thinking, I think I might gotta change gyms because these dudes doing something that I'm not doing over here. And I switched gyms. I got a lot of hell for that from my old gym because they see me as a traitor, whatever, man. But I switched gyms. And these dudes used to train a whole lot different from us. We used to do back then 4 or 5 sets. They used to be doing 6, 7, and 8 sets. And that shit used to gas me because like I wasn't accustomed to this type of training. But you see, when I went to nationals the next year, man, I cleaned that shit up. Like in my class 181 light heavyweight, yeah, I was unbeatable for 3 years. Even the last year, when I was at my worst, I just go to kind of like pad the numbers of the team. I was at my worst, and still nobody didn't beat me. And my friend was telling me, "So man, I'm standing at the back here, and these guys in the back, they talk and they say, man, they came to see you, and you ain't doing shit." And I'm like, yeah, I know, man. But I was just trying to help the team win the overall trophy type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but after a while in the powerlifting, as the gym owner, he used to train bodybuilders and powerlifting in the new gym. The name of the gym was Kings Row. And, one day I was working out and he was talking to another older guy, and he called me and he said, I turned around and he said, do a front double biceps. And I did it. And, he whispered something to the guy. I was like, he said, okay, go back and do what you're doing. I was like, I turned to him and said, I ain't like that. I think they wanted me to go bodybuilding. I ain't with bodybuilding. Like, I like drinking beer. I like having a little stomach and stuff. And, after a while, he was like, you got to switch. So what we used to do is we used to go between bodybuilding and powerlifting. Once the powerlifting season was over, they had a bodybuilding competition like 2 months later. We used to switch up and go. Once the bodybuilding season was over, we used to start back training for powerlifting. So it was a good thing for me, man, because we kind of had the best of both. You know what I'm saying? We were powerlifters, but we still did bodybuilding competition. So we didn't have we never kind of let ourselves go, Yeah. And when I saw you the first time and they say that you're a powerlifter, I was like, yeah, he could be a bodybuilder too, because I seen this look many, many times before. I know what this look is about. It's just about a complete change up in training, and this dude could do well. You know what I'm saying? Because first I saw you, I thought you were a bodybuilder. Because I ain't never seen a powerlifter that tall look that good. Like most powerlifters that tall, they're powerlifters. You could tell the stature, the structure. Now you had veins in your forearms and all that shit. You don't see that. I never seen that. I personally never seen that on a powerlifter that tall. You never look that lean. It's like that. I said, man, that dude is a hybrid. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, man, because when I first started, that was my goal. Like I said, I didn't want to be. I wanted to bring a new look to powerlifting, right? And and I was looking around the scene, and I was seeing everybody and people looking different. Like, you had the Larry Wills of the world, the Kevin Oates of the world, people like that. Like, man, you can look good and still powerlift. Not to say there's anything wrong with not being aesthetic, because everybody's genetics don't do that. A lot of mine was genetics. I have a very lean genetic, and from being my nutritionist for like the last 3 years or so, that it's hard for me to hold weight. So it just is what it is for me. You know what I mean?
You got to eat more than a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. So when you started powerlifting, so you started that over in Guyana?
Yeah. So I never powerlifted in the States. I just used to literally watch the records, you know what I'm saying, in my class in the States, and kind of compare myself up against it. And I was pretty decent.
What's the gym life like over in Guyana compared to here in the US? Like, what is it?
Like the gym that I used to train at up until I left the country. Now they got way better gyms. Up until I left the country, my gym, most of it was like, I don't know if you ever went to Louisiana. If you see some of them houses in Louisiana be built on stilts, and you can see under the house because it floods. Well, a lot of the house back home is like that. The gym was downstairs. The gym was literally outside.
Oh shit.
So the temperature, let's say when we train on Sunday, the temperature get up way up in the 80s, and we got to do squats. It's a whole different beast. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different beast. You got to stay hydrated, and you literally got to pace yourself, because you know you breathe in really hard. It's really hot. It's really hot at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and you know you're just trying to get through this workout. You know you'd be like, crazy, man. But it's more outside. It's more of that you know, them iron weights, them real heavy shit, the real like
real weight.
yeah. You know, and the messed up thing about it, we had this gym had this box where all the weights used to pack up in. You got to close the box like a big chest. And if you pack the weights wrong, it won't fit. So we used to be the last person to leave. Everybody else used to just put the shit in, and then we had to take everything out and rearrange it every night. Like, we used to be pissed, but it was just the luck of the draw for us. We left last, so we had to make sure everything was backed up. But it was like, you know, pack up the weights, you know, clean the bench. You can't, you see that new style, well, I call it new, when people powerlifting and when they almost reach their knees, they literally drop the weight on the ground.
Yeah.
You get kicked out of my gym for that shit. You know what I'm saying?
So you couldn't fail no squat.
Like, yeah, like when you deadlifting and you hitting the weight on the ground, boom, and you coming back up, boom. Yeah. No, you have to take that shit like an inch off the ground and pull it the fuck back up. You slam that shit, and them dudes would be like, yo, Mr. Charles looking at you, bro. You know you can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So like when I see it, this shit irritates me, because it's like, I can't take that noise, like, you know what I'm saying? Because we couldn't do that shit. He used to be like, who doing that?
I tell you, man, my first coach was Steve, you know, Steve Goggins over in Georgia. He was my first coach, and his training style for deadlifts was a lot like that. Like, he would coach, you know, to just really touch the weight on the floor, don't drop it. I think it's benefits to both of them, honestly. But yeah, that was my first time having to do that shit. You're right, bro. That shit it's hard. It's
that
way
shit
hard.
Is hard. Pulling it from there is hard, bro. And I'm like, yeah. But it was just more of a, it's just how they do things, man. And you don't drop the weights on the ground. It's just, you know, just, I guess the old school guys, the really old school guys, you know, and wanting to save the equipment to make it last longer and all that kind of stuff. So you had to show a lot more respect for the equipment and the gym and all that stuff, man.
So did you have anybody when you were younger who you would probably say was like around, who may have been like a mentor? I heard you just mention Mr. Charles. I guess he was the guy who owned the gym. Was there anybody who kind of took you on his wing and was like, yeah?
Mr. Charles was the owner of the gym. When I was in powerlifting, I had two coaches. The first one, let me see. The first one, he was like a math genius. Like he used to calculate everything, like he would calculate literally a whole training period, like, and put it in front, you know, got it in a book already done, like my whole training period. And it used to be highly unlikely that I missed something that he said, because, you know, we used to have this talk in the gym, like, you know, you couldn't train distracted. If you're training with a coach, we all used to be huddled up kind of together right around the weight. So you just going on, you know, this person go on, you call, you know, he called the weight, we stack it up, you go. So he would, you know, sometimes I would kind of wander off and kind of be looking on the other side of the gym where the females are and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he would call my name loud. And then when I look around, everybody would look. And he said, man, what have you won? You know, these girls like champions.
That's all the motivation you need, right?
Bro, that shit used to drive me nuts. Like, really, like, I wanted to fight this man. I'm like, you know what? I'll start winning. When I start winning, you can gotta change that tune. So, you know, by him saying, you know, he used to say a little shit, but it really was to motivate us. So what it used to do to me is just like,
You're back. I lost your audio for a second, man. I'm sorry about that, bro.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, it's it's a lot, man. I just, as I said, the first coach was basically good at math. He had everything down to science, like for real. The second coach, he had more experience as a powerlifter, traveling all over the world in powerlifting. So he had a whole different approach. But both approach was pretty much good. But like the last competition, the competition that I did the best, I trained myself. Like I literally trained myself, and we didn't do it like write everything down. We just was in the gym and winging it, literally winging it, knowing what we're doing, knowing what the weights that we gotta hit, and knowing that what we want to do at the show. Actually, we actually didn't know what we want to do at the show. We just know at the show we can do, we can go and pretty much do our best. Like, yeah, that's the last show. The last powerlifting show I did was I think it was 96.
And then somebody convinced you. Then somebody convinced you to do some bodybuilding, and it was on from
Yeah,
there.
but this is the show where at 24 years old, my homeboy in 96 squat 700 pounds. This is the first time I've ever seen somebody squat 700 pounds. Like without a suit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if anybody's seen that picture, I was the main squatter behind him. It blew my mind. I'm like, cause I know the dude, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was the best bodybuilder and the best powerlifter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as I say, he looked like you. You know what I'm saying? But bigger legs. But he was the best bodybuilder and he was the best powerlifter. And he used to make the shit look simple, bro. Like really, really simple. It's crazy.
So some people just click like that, man. They just it's crazy.
Yeah. And today, if you see him, you'd say, bro, you ever lift weights? You just look like a big dude. Like you just look like a bouncer. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he was unbeatable, bro. Both ways.
So let me ask you this, man. I mean, it's kind of a current thing too, because we're kind of transcending into bodybuilding now with the conversation. And like most recently, it's almost like every other month, we losing somebody in bodybuilding. Most recent, Sean Roden, a few other people before that. Like, in your opinion as a coach, and like I said, I've worked under you as from nutrition side of things. So I know you know your stuff, and I know you're very, very diligent on your studies and what's going on in the sport. What do you think is going on with the sport? All right, let me ask you this: do you think there's more deaths now in bodybuilding, or do you think because of the internet we just hear about it more often?
I think we hear about it more often because I've known of a few people that died and there wasn't nothing to be. I think it's more literally, I should say, more high profile people are dying.
I got you.
With the internet, and that's it. I think it's just more high profile people. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time I hear about a death, it would be more of a guy who has retired. You know what I'm saying? Or who is not that active in powerlifting. I mean, in bodybuilding anymore. But they're not too old again. You know what I mean? They're probably in their 50s still, but they're not competing on that level. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the last couple of deaths in bodybuilding, most of them people are competing still, Yeah, that shit is crazy.
So I know you and I, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, just hanging out talking, but a lot of conversation been about diuretics and such like that. And some of the diuretics are a lot stronger now that people take. I never bodybuilded, so I never have had to use diuretics or anything like that. But do you think that people are just really pushing the envelope just a little too hard now? Because I know you're very big on your diet and nutrition being the baseline. So
individual to individual, it might be possible, and I say that because I have a friend. I'm not gonna call his name. He's a doctor, and I went to his office and I saw a picture of him on the wall, and he was grainy as fuck, like like the type of conditioning that like I would wish to get any one of my athletes into.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, bro, what did you do to get to this condition? He said, you don't want to do that.
Mm.
He said, I went overboard with everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at the picture like, damn. He said, I went overboard with everything. And, you know, that has caused him to have a liver transplant and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As a result of, he
Yeah.
just, you know, he when he said it to me, I kind of felt away, because it's just like, I thought that was like, he did that just doing regular shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It wasn't. He just, you know, if you tell him take 3, he was taking 7 to 10.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Of whatever. You know what I'm saying?
And that's exactly where I was about to go. You know, in terms of, you know, when you're coaching clients, like I know you personally. Like, you know, I consider you a friend, a good friend of mine now. So I can say this with all confidence that I know that you care a lot about your clients.
Oh, for sure.
You know, their personal life, how would they do on stage? Like I feel like some coaches about, you know, make sure my money in the account every month, and that's all that really matters. But I know you're not like that. You did. And so as a coach, how hard is it for you to walk away from a client who you know is not going to listen? Or is it hard for you at all?
It's not hard. It's
Yeah.
not hard because I wanna go to sleep at nights with a clear conscience. I want to have a clear conscience about stuff. I want it to be known that, you know what I'm saying, I got morals, and I value health and life over everything else. You could say literally fuck the sport and walk away. I'm cool with that. But I'm not cool with, you know, going to the extreme, either on, you know, performance enhancing drugs or diuretics or anything, you know, to give you that edge that you want to go to the extreme. You know, I've parted ways with people over our differences in what they should take, you know, because the thing about it is, you know, so people will watch it, you know, a female like, you know, like Lex or B, and everybody would say like, I want to be like them, and that is fine. But I just want you to know these people have been with me for years. We have been doing different things, trying to find that formula that works for them. And when we did, it worked. So I'm not going to be able, I can't tell you, I don't guarantee no miracles. I'm not going to tell you anything you want to hear. I'm going to tell you the truth. You got to bust your ass to make it. And it's not going to come, you know, like when you think it's going to come, unless, you know, you're a genetic freak. But it's going to take some time, and you just got to stay the course. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I got Salika. I posted a picture. I dropped a picture, I think yesterday, and I've been dropping some pictures. She about to do her first bodybuilding competition. Tomorrow she about to step on stage. She's a true novice. She has never competed before. Bro, she been training with me for about 4 years. Yeah. Losing weight. She came at about 215.
Oh, okay.
And all she been doing is losing weight, eating good and losing weight. Right now, she is at 150 something. She says she hasn't been that since she was in her 30s. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So she just been down and being patient. That's all we been doing. Like, in order for you to go to a show, you gotta show me that you're ready to do a show. And it took her years, but now she's ready. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people didn't see that part. They just see this part. And now it's just like, you know, want to look like that. You know what I'm saying? And you could look like that, but don't think that she took anything to the extreme or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? She just was consistent in her training, her diet, and her nutrition. Consistent. Like, you know, if you know, goal oriented. You know, she wanted what she wanted, and she just stayed the course. You know, and as much as you could say it that simple, that shit is really, really hard for a lot of people.
You mentioned Lex and B. I know Lex had a good season this past year. I know B got her pro card. And for those who don't know who we're talking about, I'll try to make sure I tag them both in the caption. Two phenomenal bodybuilders, female bodybuilders. And I know Lex been with you for a while. And I
Yeah,
think,
we've been training since like 2016,
yeah, so,
late 2015, and yeah,
and so I know B joined your roster, I think a couple of years ago. So let me
yeah,
ask you about that. So as a coach that is as passionate about the sport as you are and love the sport, and every time your name comes up in conversation with people I talk to who know I know you, they'll say, man, what kind of guys? Because I don't really talk to them. We always get to some point in the conversation where I express to them that this man really loves bodybuilding. And a lot of people don't get that. Like there's people in the sport who do bodybuilding, but it's different between doing bodybuilding and living bodybuilding. And like you legit love it. And I tell people all the time. But so when you have an athlete like B come onto your roster, and I follow her IG page for years, and I know her indirectly through some other people. So I know she's had a few different coaches. And this is not to bash any coach. I don't want to say that whatsoever. But when a client comes over to you, and I imagine they've been trying to get a pro card for years, they're frustrated, and you're able to take them and turn that switch and make it click for them. Like how much fulfillment does it give you to help to see a person come to you and you can make what they're trying to do come true? Like how does that make you feel, I guess, personally inside?
Well, let me back it up and let me say it like this. A lot of people say, man, genetically, I think that you got what it takes to become a pro. And I'm like, I think so too. But this is my deal. This is
Yeah.
my deal. If I turn pro, it's just me. It's me. I, singular, one person.
Mhm.
If I make 2 or 3 people turn pro, that's a big accomplishment to me. It's
Mhm.
bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? So like when I sit back and when somebody turn pro, it's just like I get a sense of fulfillment. Like I have done something. Literally, I have changed your life in a way. And that's not to bodybuilding to me. That's to humanity. I have
Mhm.
done something. I have changed somebody's life. Now they're on a different level. They could do different things, however they want to, whatever, however they want to turn market themselves as a pro. But I have helped them accomplish that goal, and
Yeah.
that's huge to me, man. It's personal, bro. It's really personal, especially when you watch people and you know what they're going through in their personal lives, and they're still pushing, and then it happened. It's just like, yeah, it's personal, man. And
Yeah.
then, like a lot of times when people get off stage, the first person they call is me. You know, a lot of times, man, to be honest, man, I break down, like for real, in my private
Mhm.
moments, because it's just like I'm so happy for a person to accomplish something that they know that they've been trying to accomplish, and they know that this is gonna change their lives. Like I have done something, literally, I have done something. That feeling is like, yeah, it's
And that's what I try to express to people who ask me about you. I say I think that's why I think that's what separates you from a lot of coaches. Again, this ain't the bash on the coach because we're not mentioning nobody else specifically, but I do know that like you're somebody who truly cares. And speaking of another one of your athletes, Cedric, I'll try to tag him too down in the capture for y'all who don't know who he is. Like with Cedric, I know he and we've known each other for years. We've been homies. He lives up in North Carolina, so we don't kick it on a regular basis, obviously. But whenever we're in town together, we train together, we chit chat, and we talk on the phone over the years. And I've known a lot of his frustrations of trying to get that pro card. Anybody who's known
oh yeah,
Cedric will follow him, and a lot of people know him as Big Six or Six Figure for some of you people who do follow bodybuilding. And he's always expressed a whole lot of passion about wanting that pro card. And I know if he recently got it this past year, he made it very apparent on his page on how much it meant to get it, number one, but how much you helped him. And he's always shouted you out in a lot of different ways. He's always spoke very highly of you. So I can imagine that with someone like him, and he expressed, he didn't hold any emotion back when he got his pro card. You could see exactly how much it meant to him.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. So, you know, I, so we got together. We talk about this training. We start training. We start getting ready for North Americans. And I'm laying out, the game plan. What I didn't know is that he had other personal shit going on, and he wasn't really following the plan. So he showed up at North Americans and stuff. I was down there. I'm sitting in there watching. It's like, it's not good. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not ready for this level of competition and stuff. He came off stage. He walked right up to me, and he put money in my hand. He said, "This is the next couple of months dues. Just so you know that I'm all in." I'm like, all right, man, whatever. So we got down to Florida, because that time B was competing in nationals. Miss B, she was competing in nationals. We got down to Florida, and what we did was we went over to the Whole Foods and we sat down. And I said, man, I got to tell you about me, and this ain't bodybuilding. I got to tell you about me and where I'm from and what I'm about and what I'm trying to accomplish in this sport, not only with you but with everybody else. And we sat and talked for about 2 hours, and after then, I changed his whole way of seeing everything. We got along so great, like it changed everything. It was more like, I got to let you understand me, and I want to know who you are, so I could be able to get to you, mentally, so we could figure this thing out. Even if something going on in your personal life, let me know so we could know how we can handle things and how we can make this shit work. But we got to make this shit work. We got to be on the same page. And that's what I said, man. Like, he wanted the person that shouted me out the most. Like, I used to feel a little uncomfortable. Like, I'm like, bro, you do all of that. But he was just making it known,
Yeah. One thing I do know about Sid, like I said, I'm never one to claim, a relationship or friendship that's not what it is. But like, we are definitely cool. We cool as hell. I consider him a friend. But he is loyal as hell. Like if you,
oh yeah,
so
oh yeah,
I get it. I see it.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, I said, I tell him, I see you, that little brother that I have. Sometimes I want to punch you so bad, bro, but I don't know what the consequences can be. But I just want to let you know. Sometimes I just want to do it just one time, because I said we constantly on the phone talking about, what I'm saying, about bodybuilding strategy, pro debut. Sometimes I'm just checking up on people, man. How you doing? What's going on? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How your
I was
kids?
happy for him. I mean, I was definitely happy for him, man. And then it was really dope that
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is, I got a call from a friend who's a coach who was at the show, and he said, "Yo, I see you, dude. It's a wrap." You know what I'm saying? And now this coach is like, like everything that like if I tell you I got 25 clients, he probably got 75 or 100. You know what I'm saying? Bodybuilders. He is big, but we've been friends over the years, and I would ask him questions if I got questions and stuff like that. So when he said that, I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? He said, he said, yeah, I see you, dude. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, cool, thanks.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Man. So yeah, man, it's just one of them things. It's this year, it says meant his whole mindset about what he wanted to do, kind of coming into this year. It was dead set. It was like, you hear him, I'm like, man, bro, you talking about this shit like it's already happened. Like, you done read this in a scripture somewhere or something. He said, yo, I'm turning pro this year, and they ain't got no ifs, ands, or buts. We got to do what we got to do. So he had this procedure, because he was having all this hiccups, and he had this procedure, and they said that you got to do surgery. So I'm like, shit. So he telling me we on the phone, and I'm like, oh gosh, this is another setback. So he said, but I'm gonna tell you one thing for damn sure. We turning pro this year. I bust out loud, and I'm like, bro, we in the middle of some serious shit. And you're like, I'm gonna tell you one thing for damn sure. We going pro this year. I'm like, damn. He's like, yeah, that surgery is on hold till after the show, bro. I'm like, okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if you asked me, I would have tell you go ahead. But if you said it's on hold, let's go. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, he was locked in. Like it was scary to me, because like for him it was like, nobody can beat me this year. You know what I'm saying? That was his whole process. Like, and nobody can beat me this year. I want it.
That's what's up, man. So speaking of your training, I'm not speaking of training, but just talking about your training techniques anyway. One thing that you are definitely well known for, your epic leg days. Now, I spent one leg day with you, right? Not that I'm afraid to come back, I just had a chance to come back. But how did your leg days, like, how did you come up with your leg day? So for people who need a little bit of an idea what we're talking about, I live in Alabama. He lives in Georgia, Birmingham and Atlanta to be specific. So you're talking about a 2-hour drive and some change from me. So I drive over one night to the gym, and his whole crew is there. The whole team is there, and it's my first time training with his team. And really, I was just there for no reason or the other. Just I want to train with the team. And I wanted a different atmosphere, different scene. So we come in, and this is what's crazy about how great of a coach he is. So we have about 7 or 8 people that are training with us, but we're all doing something different. When I mean different, some people are doing shoulder day, some people are doing leg day, some people are doing chest day, and he's orchestrating all this, right? So I come in, and he says, start down there. I'm like, okay, start doing what down there? Just start lunging. Listen, man, I probably did 200 lunges before we even started the leg workout. And he said, are you ready to go now? So you got where the leg work, where it come from? All
right. So I got this friend, right? Jeff. And I think you met him at Chicago Pro. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, Jeff. Jeff really started most of his serious lifting in Germany, where he has a lot of principles that the Germans were using, and it kind of was based in a high volume. So some of the workouts are high volume and some are lower volume, but it was some brutal workouts. Like, I always used to tell him, like, I'm not gonna quit, but I could fail under some weights, but I'm not gonna tell you that I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna do as much as I could do, but I'm not gonna tell you I can't do it. Yeah. And I remember one time we worked out, and I got off the leg press because we went up. We went up from 2 plates, and we went up, and then we came back down. And that shit, when I came off the leg press, I lay on the ground, but I lay on my back, and my hamstrings and my butt and everything was hurting. So I turned on my side, and the whole side of my thighs were hurting. I turned on my stomach, and the front of my quads were hurting. So I had to get up, but I couldn't stand too long because I didn't have it like that. And I'm like, man, one of my friends like, I ain't coming back. I'm like, I got to, this is some shit I got to do. You know what I'm saying? So, I took a lot of what I learned from him, and, I add stuff to it, like, because we had access to the lunge area in the gym. Mm-hmm. Well, the part that you never seen is the girls do lunges around that whole building on Sunday. And them guys tell me straight up, anytime you tell us to do lunges around this building, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I'm done. I'm gone. I'm not doing that shit. And the girls do lunges around that building like 3 times.
So I'm gonna say this. So when I came over, I said, look, I can't be no punk. After I finished doing the lunges, bro, I was so spent, because you gotta take into account. So for everybody who's watching, at this point, I was still mainly powerlifting. That's what it was. Yeah. And I was getting ready to do my last competition. I already decided I was gonna step away from powerlifting after this last competition at this time. And I was considering moving into bodybuilding. And I just want a different type of training that day. So because of what I'm saying, all that to say this: when you powerlift, you don't do very many reps of much of anything. We very seldom exhaust the muscle.
Oh, so yeah.
After doing 200 down and 300 lunges before we start the leg workout, I wanted to quit. All right. I never told him this. He's learned this for the first time now. I wanted to quit. I said, I can't be no bitch in front of everybody else. So I toughed it out. Man, listen, that was by far the worst. I won't ever say the worst. That was by far the most intense leg workout I've ever had in my life. And I remember leaving that day. I sat in my car for like 10 minutes before I could even pull off. But at the same time, we laugh and joke about it, man. But in all seriousness, I think like that's the type of dedication that you have to have to be there, And I think some people who are chasing those pro cards, or some people who want to be on stage, they think it's easy. They don't really understand the level of dedication it takes. And that's different between, amateurs and pros, different between, I almost got my pro card, but I didn't, people like that, so let's go. So right now in the game of bodybuilding, who are some of the names, male and female, you think are just like, amateur or pro, whatever it is that you're like, okay, that's the epitome of what bodybuilding is. Like, I know I have my ideas of a couple people who I like following in bodybuilding. For instance, I love Terrence Ruffin. I think he's freaking amazing as a classic physique guy. But who do you think right now?
I like Terrence because of his not only his body structure, but his ability to pose.
Oh,
I think that he, as it is right now, the most fluid poser in the game. Like everything about his routines are flawless. Like, you know, in classic, I like Terrence and I like Chris. I think that, you know, although I don't think he could stay in the class for a long time.
I was just about to ask you, like, how much longer do you think he could?
These dudes walking around pretty big in the off season. Yeah. So I don't think he could stay, but you know, for the fact that, you know, he won it a couple of times, I feel like, you know, that's good for him and everything that he's trying to accomplish. I feel like Terrence, he's gonna get it, and he pretty much he's gonna hold on to it for a minute. I also feel like he can get a run from Keon, because I think that personally, if and when, no matter when Keon wins that title, being that young, he can you know, he can hold it for a while, because most of the other guys are way older than him, and you know, they probably gonna be on their way out. It's gonna be harder for them to kind of keep up. But yeah. Terrence and Keon, you know, I see them both being Mr. Olympia at some point in time. In the open bodybuilding, in the open bodybuilding, I like the big guy. The big guy can always win.
Remy,
he, you know, as long as he show up the way he show up, he can always win. I don't think the smaller guys like Heidi is gonna ever pull it off. Like, I feel like they had a time when that could have happened. I don't feel this time is it. I feel like because most of the guys coming in like super big, you know, Nick Walker, big as hell, Lila Brother, you know, he coming, you know what I'm saying? The thing about him and Heidi is age, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, he keep coming up. Heidi got to stay there. He might, you know, he could lose a step or two next year. Could, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? But I say I like Labrada, I like Nick Walker. That guy from Canada, Reagan Grimes. I kind of dig his physique too. I used to be a big Rolly Winkler fan, but don't let me say I used to. I like him because I've met him, and he knows some people that I know in the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Really cool, really soft spoken, really nice guy. But that size that he got there, you know, I like it, but I don't see him getting conditioned enough to even be in that top 5 again. But as I say, he could surprise me. That's just me talking. You know what I'm saying?
And that was gonna be my question, man, about some of the big guys. You know, it took Remy 3-4 years to finally get the conditioning because he was so big.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
And I wonder sometimes that some of the guys the focus is too much on size, and then they get to a point where it becomes almost next to impossible to get conditioned. I'm a huge Rolly fan too. I've been a Rolly fan way back.
I like Rolly made a leap, literally, like a leap, like from here to here.
Yeah, it was
and
quick.
It's just like, yeah, and it's just like even possible. Like when you look at the muscles, you like, how is that even possible? You know what I'm saying? Man. But it's just like he never came down to where like he would win a show and you would be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He can be problems at the Olympia because not only is he big as he normally his signature size, but he's conditioned. The conditioning part always beats his ass. He don't look like that on stage. I've seen him close up many times, and it's just like, that ain't it, bro. That ain't it. But you know, the size, man, that shit is he make that shit fit him beautifully, bro. Beautifully.
Yeah. What's the kid? I feel bad because I can't think of the guy's name now. I almost call him a kid. He won a 212 this year, and then he also did open later. a couple months later?
Former Mr. Olympia, Sean
Yeah.
Clarita.
So I'll be honest, man. Like, to me, that was pretty impressive for him to win the 212 and then come back 2 months later and win.
No, he got second. He got second in the 212.
Oh, he got second in 212.
Yeah,
All right,
he got second, and then he stepped up into the open class. Now
Yeah.
that's the kind of bodybuilder. That's the kind of bodybuilder that could cause trouble for big men.
So is he planning to compete in both the open and the 212 of the Olympia?
I don't think they're gonna let him.
Okay.
You gotta pick a struggle. I think
Okay.
they're not gonna allow that.
Okay.
I don't think they will. If he competes in the open, I think he can give them a run for their money, just because of the proportions that he got on that small frame that he got.
Oh, he freakish, bro. He freakish.
I don't even know. I can't even tell you if he is 200 pounds. I doubt it, but I could be wrong. But he carries a lot of size and on that frame, and because of the fact that he's so short, it looks way bigger than it is when you take that picture from that angle on the stage, and he looks literally like unreal. You know what I'm saying? That dude is, as I say, if he go into the open, if he goes to the open Olympia, he could literally sneak in that top 5. I think so. With the conditioning and the size that he got, he could. Everybody else gotta come like really, really, really conditioned, because he can bring it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think you should, but that's just my opinion. But I feel like if you feel like you got a shot, go ahead. Because he got nice muscle bellies and small joints, so it just make him look unreal standing next to a big guy.
So I know recently the Arnold, they had a press release for the upcoming Arnold, and I think a lot of people were taken back by seeing that female bodybuilding is not going to be included in Arnold. So what, I know female bodybuilding has been a little bit of a controversial topic for many years now. Myself personally, I don't see a problem with whatever class. If someone wants to compete, they should be able to compete in that class. I understand the people who oppose it. I understand their stance, but I still don't think it's fair to those women who dedicate so much to it and who do what it takes. So what do you think about them just kind of purposely omitting that category from the Arnold?
I feel like, and this is just my personal opinion, I feel like to Arnold and the people involved, I feel like that might not be appealing to their sponsors. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong, but I feel like that might not be appealing to the sponsors, and they kind of play into the sponsors and the kind of money that they can get and things of that nature. Because if you look at it, you can't say for no other reason that they're pulling the shit because of one thing or the other. I just feel like it's something more to do with the financial part of the show. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that it came back, because they got a lot of women that they do women's physique, they can be considered too big, and so at least they got shows that they could do, and it's a win-win for everybody else. But I just think Anna made a business decision. I don't think it was personal. I think he made a business decision. You know what I'm saying? And and as much people say they some people wanted to put up money and see who would have put back money and put up money so that they could have enough money to pay them and all that stuff. I just think it was deeper than that for him. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't put your hands on one or two things that he would pull the show, like, you know what I'm saying, like that. I think he didn't do it I don't think he did it willingly, but it's just one of them things.
So to kind of segue into, I guess, kind of stand a little bit in the same vein when it comes to female bodybuilders and the politics around it and people's personal opinion on it. What do you think about the taboo nature of, especially female bodybuilders? And I don't want to make it I don't want to objectify the female bodybuilders. That's not what I'm trying to do. But there's no secret that to some people that it is. And I think it's very unfortunate that some people who want to see female bodybuilding, it's not really for the art of bodybuilding. It's more for the taboo of just seeing, the women in that state. So I guess my question would be to you, because some people don't believe it's real. So I'll tell you a quick story. Many years ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was telling her how I was trying to explain to her what muscle worship was, right? Right? And she was like, "That's really a thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's really a thing." Right? Then I don't believe you. Well, ironically enough, yeah, very much so. But ironically enough, I got propositioned for some similar, like couple of weeks later, and I showed her, right, and so it kind of proved it to her.
Yeah, I have too, many times.
And I think there's maybe a dark side of the sport some people don't like talking about, because it's not. And I guess I need to back up a little bit, because I guess I shouldn't say objectify women, because it goes both ways.
So
it actually, I don't want to say the name of who it was, but it's I'll say this, a very popular personality, I'll say that, on social media, who recently came across my phone last night. Somebody sent me a post of this person who did some subjective things, not subjective, some interesting things early in their career where they're trying to get on. So for the people who don't understand bodybuilding that well and don't understand the financial aspect of how hard it is, how much it costs, and then you hear about people who do things for the money, to make the money, to become pros later on. So maybe this guy was a nobody at some point, had to make ends meet, did this, and then now he's a pro, or now he has 2 million followers on Instagram, or whatever it is. Like, what's your take on when you hear stories like that about people?
Couple of things. Before the OnlyFans thing popped up, there were a lot of other venues where bodybuilders, male and female, used to make money. But it kind of require you, it depends on your ability to make money, depended on how far you wanted to take the shit.
Yeah.
This is just online shit, camera to camera shit. It depends on how far you wanted to take it. I feel like a lot of people, in the beginning, a lot of people, if they weren't working pretty much a job that's, a fulfilling job, I should say, kind of lean to personal training. And it didn't work the way it did. But some people look good, generally, face, body, everything, and hop on the internet thing and realize that they could make a lot of money without even leaving their home.
Yeah.
And
I know, right?
They took that path. The thing is, what I'm saying? The thing is like, some people would record. You're not supposed to really record the shit.
Yeah.
Some people record the shit and then post it on another site. Of course, you could, if you see it, tell them take it down. Order them a cease and desist. They didn't have your permission. You know what I'm saying? But some people have done that. That's the only reason that I have seen some people like, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I've had people send me stuff. I'm like, damn, okay, cool.
Yeah, but it's just like I'm at the point where, like, some people gotta do what they gotta do to make ends meet. And I can't say, what is good or what is bad. You gotta know what's good or what is bad for your career.
Yeah.
You gotta know what has the possibility to come back and bite you in the ass. You know, and if you cool with what you got to do to get what you got to get, you know, that's fine. I'm not judging anybody, but just, you know, just make sure that it don't put you in such a way that you know, it's gonna be a situation where it could, you know, prevent you from going somewhere or getting something.
Yeah. And I guess that'll be my next thing about sponsorships. You know, people had to be very careful when they're trying to come get sponsorships. And well, I think a lot of people don't understand about bodybuilding too, people who are chasing these pro cards. I think some people under the misconception that they get a pro card and the money starts flowing in. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Once start coming,
yeah,
money start coming, you know.
So you see people trying to get sponsors. I mean, though, in your opinion, how political do you think that is as far as getting sponsorships? I think it's unfortunate, man, because
it sucks. It sucks right now, the amount of pros that they got and the kind of sponsorship that is being offered in a lot of companies. They got a lot of supplement companies, a lot of small companies on the come up on all of this, right? First thing they check is how much people following you. All right. And so they know how much people you could actually influence to buy their products. You know, they don't really care not more or say nothing else about you in the sense of who you are, you know, because like I got a friend that got a large supplement company. We come up since about 2010. We been knowing each other. And I had asked him, like, yo, man, you think you could sponsor one of my athletes? And he was, you know, once he started asking those questions, I just got off the topic. You know, I realized that, you know, you can do a lot as a athlete, and you can get a little, you know. So in that sense, you gotta start finding ways to monetize yourself, you know. And just like everybody else, like I just told one of my guys the other day, I'm like, you can gotta put a whole lot of content on YouTube. You can gotta do more than just shooting a 15-second video and putting it on IG. That ain't gonna cut it. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to make money off of this sport, you gotta invest in yourself and, you know, get somebody to follow you around in the gym and, you know, show what you do, show who you are, like show your life, show what you're cooking, show when you're shopping, do everything. You got to put it out there, because these 10 seconds, 15 seconds clip that you're putting in your stories ain't gonna cut it. You're not gonna make no money off of this sport. Don't sit around and wait for a sponsor. Make some shit happen. Now, when people see you doing stuff and making stuff happen, now they wanna be a part of what you got going on, because now it seems like, yeah, you're a little more popular now. Now you have a little leverage to kind of negotiate as to what you want. But if you're not coming like that, then you got to take what the company gives you, and which of most times is just some supplements. You know what I'm saying?
I know, right?
That pay nobody bills.
So what you just said is my next thought too. You say how people want to kind of follow you on social media, see how you eat, see your workouts. So, you know, there's a lot of people who get on social media every day. They get on YouTube, they follow their favorite personalities, and they try to mimic what those people do, thinking they're going to get the same results. So when you have clients come to you, whether it's lifestyle clients or whether it's bodybuilding clients, and you have to break it to them and say, it's a lot more to it than what you see people post online. What's usually the reaction you get from people when they realize what it really takes in terms of how strict the diet has to be, how intense the training has to be? What's the usual response once they get that real fire and they realize, okay, this different. This ain't what I saw on social media.
The first wake up is the leg day workouts. The second thing, some people would be like, you know, one guy had told me one time, oh, so when we changing up the meals? I'm like, you
ain't just no change up.
eating this for a week and want to know what change up.
Ain't no change up, buddy.
You know, I'm like, we gotta see a lot of changes before we make any changes. So he said, and then I posted this on Instagram. He said, so when am I gonna get a cheat meal? I'm like, what did you do to earn a cheat meal? He was like, oh, okay, my bad. And that was the end of the conversation. It's just like, why you talking about cheat meals like a weekend, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you know, man, I tell people like, the consistency of this sport is it's a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Literally. I've been eating the same fucking thing for 25 years.
Yeah, we
The
talked about
same
that
shit.
last time we talked. We talked about
Yeah,
how
all I do, I've gotten to the point where most of the shows that I watch are cooking shows. I want to see how people in different parts of the world season their food so I could apply that to what I'm doing so I could make this shit taste better because this is the shit I'm eating. You know what I'm saying? I look at it from the perspective of my family background. I see how all of them and what they suffer from, and I know how they eat, and I don't eat how they eat.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just literally trying to keep myself out of the doctor's office and offer, any medication that I don't have to take as a result of me not having a proper diet and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to be around for a long time.
I feel you, bro.
I know that in doing so, I'm gonna have to do some things that I might not want to do, but it's gonna be necessary. Like with me, with cheat meals, like I don't have a cheat meal day. Like I could be driving home from the gym and be like, you know what? I think I'm gonna stop at KFC. Yeah, it's KFC. I'm gonna get 3 pieces of chicken. I'm gonna put it on my rice, and that's gonna be fine. But it's not. I don't plan that, and I do it. I do it for one day, and for the next 3-4 months, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? I don't plan it, but if I feel like I want something, I go get it in the spur of the moment, and that's over. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't have like food cravings. Like, I don't have food cravings.
So people watching this video gonna probably like, damn, all this man do is work out, coach, and eat the same shit every day. So what is some stuff about you? I guess maybe some hobbies or stuff outside the gym. I know you're into the bikes. And matter of fact, you gotta help me. You gotta help me find a bike, bro. You gonna figure it out. So I know you're in the bike. So how long you been riding? I know you got a Harley down, which is I guess they call it a grown man bike.
About 6 years. 6 years. I had a bike way before I was riding. I could have ride, but I started riding with a club because it was some of the coolest dudes that I ever met. It was a brotherhood for real. Them dudes they were for real. Slick. We been down since that club. Like the first time we met, actually, we kind of hit it off. I'm like, this dude is a cool dude, and we became friends, and just like we just became friends after that. Like nobody can tell how long we know each other because like we be arguing so much. People think we about to fight or something. We just friends. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like we been around each other. I see that dude every day. Every day he at my house. So we cool like that. At one point, I probably had about 6 bikes, and this was all crotch rockets.
Yeah.
And then some things start happening. People start dying. Like I had this one guy that used to live in my neighborhood. Like he was the all-weather rider. It could be 30 degrees outside. You see him. I would see him come around my car, but he got on this big trench coat and he got a patch on the back. I was like, yeah, I know who that is.
Yeah.
And he got killed. Somebody actually ran into him. He got killed. One of my closest friends, we were supposed to meet up that day, and I tell him like, hold off, don't come to my house yet. Give me about an hour. And he went riding down to 20, and a gas line erupted in the road, like right in front of him. Threw him up in the air, hit the ground, brain injuries. Like now, if you hear him talk now, it sounds like a kid, like them kids who just trying to talk. So when he talk, you got to really, really listen to what he's saying. And I said, man, I know it's kind of frustrating for you because you could verbalize everything in your head, but it don't come right. And he was like, yes, he was like, yes. And I'm like, it's kind of hard for me because I know you, and now to see you go through this, it kind of hurts. Like sometimes I don't want to talk to you, not because I don't want to talk to you, because I wish I could get the old you back, because he would call me just on the spur of a moment. What are you doing? Nothing. I'm at home chilling. He was like, all right, gear up. I'm about to pick you up. Let's hit the road and, you know, for about an hour. Let's just ride. Let's just go through some of the fundamentals and, you know, kind of things like that. But, you know, and a couple of other people went to Myrtle Beach, and the dude was running from the cops, and he went around a corner. There was a boat on a trailer, and he didn't see the trailer part, and he got decapitated. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy, man.
Shit.
It was like so much things was happening within a small period of time. And, you know, Slick was like, yo, we need to get some Harleys, bro. We need to get off these bikes and get some Harleys. They're loud. You got music. They can hear you from a mile. You know, you're not going to ride that fast. And we need to do that. And that's how we switched up, man. But, you know, to me, riding is, you know, being on the bike is like, once you're on the road, like your whole mind clears. Like it goes literally, you focus on the road in front of you and nothing else in your mind. No thoughts about nothing. It just, you know, we call it bike therapy. Your mind just becomes really, really clear. And that's all you think about, the ride and the music that's playing. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, you know, I would pretty much, you know, stop my day and just put my bike out and just go downtown and come back up. You know, just to clear my head a little bit, man. It works. Yeah. You know, it works.
I know when I was about 50 or 60 pounds, I don't know if I ever told you, and I think I did tell you once before. I was about 50 or 60 pounds lighter. I used to ride. I had a Gixxer, I had a Zuki, I had a Gixxer, 1000. And
I'm comfortable in that now.
I had a Gixxer, man. I had an 08 1000, and I used to race. And then you're talking about just doing crazy shit. So we used to street race and drag race, and so had the bike built, top end of the engine had been built, had a stretch lowered, the whole nine. And so I used to prefer street racing over track racing. I don't really know why, but I took my bike to North Carolina. There's a shop up there that was known for building engines and stuff for bikes. I was like, man, I want to have a badass bike. I want to have the baddest bike, you know, around my area anyway. So when it had a nitrous kit put on it, had never sprayed nitrous before. Ooh. So I go pick it up. I took it up there like on Friday, spent the weekend up there because the dude agreed to do it for me over the weekend, because he'd already built the top end of the engine for me. I already built the heads and everything for me. So it took him like over the weekend. So I stayed the weekend in Charlotte, brought it back. Couldn't wait to get back to the track. So the following weekend we go to the track, and it was it's what we call back then a spider kit. I don't know what they call them now, but it was a progressor kit. And so it wasn't a button. It wasn't a nitrous button. Essentially, whenever I went full throttle, it would turn the computer on and it would ramp up the NOS, right? And so I leave the line, and anybody who know about racing bikes, you know, first and second gear, the two most sensitive gears on a crotch rocket anyway. And before I could get out of first gear to second gear, the NOS hit at 100%.
Oh shit!
I remember seeing the moon.
Oh,
and when it slammed back down, so it was stretched, so I was lucky. I didn't go past 12 o'clock. It slammed back down. When it slammed back down, it snapped my swing arm in half, but I didn't know it. Shit. All right, and it bust my oil pan. At the same time, the guy I'm racing, I don't see him yet. So I'm thinking, shit, I might still have this race. You know, we got money on the race. You know how it is when you whatever. So I get back in it. But I'm not going anywhere. So what happened was I bust my oil pan. So now I'm fishtailing, man. And so I got home. I just spent all this money on having a NOS kit put on, break the bike, bring it home. And of course, my plan was to get it fixed and get back at it. And then I just lost interest, man. I lost between the time me getting it fixed. So that bike sat in my garage, no joke, on a battery tender for like 5-6 years. Brand new NOS kit on it, brand new swing arm on it. I finally sold it like 3 years ago. I was too big to ride it.
I got a 06 GSX. I got a 06. I got it in the garage. That's my first bike. I haven't sold it yet. I can't find the title, but
I sold it, man. But I wish I hadn't. But I mean, I was not gonna ride it again.
Yeah, that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like my black bike. I look at it like, yeah, we had some good times. I ain't doing that, because you got to put on a helmet and then you put on the headphones in your ears.
Yeah.
Like Slick was, he was not into that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? He would put his headphones in, but for his phone. You know what I'm saying? Because like he want to hear the sounds of his bike. You know what I'm saying? He want to hear everything. So yeah, he used to be like, "Yo, man, why are you playing music in your ears, bro? Like, listen to the sound your bike making."
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that. I want to hear some music. I ain't gonna be riding this long without no music in my ear.
Now,
But
one
yeah,
thing I do know about you that a lot of people don't know about you, that you're in the dogs. At least some people might not know about you.
oh
So
yeah.
you have now what kind of dog you have again? I forget.
Uh, man, you call what they call them? Um, men, no, micro bullies.
Okay.
Micro bullies. Yeah,
How long
I don't
you been in
know.
the dogs, man?
Dog since I was a kid, bro. I had a dog used to follow me to school. Our school was like, it was like, because we lived in, back home. I lived in Georgetown. I live in the city,
Mhm,
but it's just like, put it like, um, I lived by the Georgia Dome,
mhm.
and my school was like Atlantic Station. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay.
So we walked. My
Yeah.
dog used to walk and wait till I get out of school.
Walk back
I
on.
used to be embarrassed, man. It's like, who dog is that? It's my dog. I always been into dogs, man. I always been into dogs. I was really big into pit bulls, and why I stopped is because like I had a pit bull when I had my daughter, and she was about not more than 2 months or 3 months, and she was in the car seat on the bed, and the dog jumped up and snapped twice.
Mm.
And yeah, I had to give away the dog, and I don't mess with pit bulls, like purebred pit bulls. Like, I felt like I don't have the experience at this point and the time to work with them, because pit bulls are good dogs. Like, they,
Mhm.
they are good dogs, but that experience kind of, I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like it. I felt like, just as I said, I didn't feel like I was spending, I was good enough to handle my dog in a way where it was more family oriented, like
Mhm.
like my dogs now, you know.
Yeah.
So, like now, like I'm always with my dogs once I'm downstairs, or I'm upstairs. So they, like you come to my house, you hear my dog bark, you think like he's gonna kill somebody, and then you open the pen, he just want to sniff, jump up on you, and smell it, and then he's talking about this business. People be like, don't open that cage, man. That no, no, no. The
Yeah.
dog is about the look. The micro bullies are all about the look. That's all. They
That's
bark,
all it is.
but they got this look. And I just like it for the fact that they're expensive. Yes, man. Them dogs sent me back some change,
Yeah, I'll spare you on that. You ain't got to tell me how much you pay for them. I know they cost. I know they
but
cost.
I mean, everybody got a guilty pleasure, man.
Yeah, everybody got a vice, man.
Some people buy guns. Some people like guns.
Yeah, everybody got a vice.
Yeah.
So one thing going on right now in the press that we can't avoid has been this vaccine. And I was reading an article the other day about Kyrie, and I think Kyrie was trying to state to some degree that he's not Kyrie Irving. I'm talking about that he's not necessarily against the vaccine. He doesn't like the mandate or being told what I'm supposed to do with my body. So, how do you feel about this whole mandate idea? Or just the vaccine in general? I think everybody kind of has their opinion on it, and to me, it's just that it's an opinion. But some people do take it kind of personal. I don't understand why. But what's your take on it? Is it more the mandate for you, or and this is, I mean, I couldn't care less if you were vaccinated or not,
For
but just kind
me,
of your take on it
all right.
on Kyrie's
First of all,
situation.
first of all, I'm vaccinated. I
Okay.
did it, and I did it because I wanna be able to go places
Mhm.
and not have to show up that I've been tested, or hear that I can't be there, or I can't go there anywhere that I got to show proof that I had a vaccination, and I
Mhm.
don't have it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I believe in science more than I believe in religion. So I'm gonna go with the science. Now, you know, a lot of people got a lot of hangups on, you know, what is, you know, which side they want to be on, and I'm cool with that. But you know, what it got me is that I know I got a lot of female friends, and you know, I was just talking to different females on, you know, trying to get a idea as to, you know, what you think about the vaccine, whatever. And I found out that if I spoke to about 5 people, they all were vaccinated. And I'm like, so y'all gonna do all of this and y'all didn't tell me? Like y'all get vaccinated, like y'all got me out here in the cold. And you know, they Slick coming up the stairs, you can hear him. They saying that you know, once they said it, I was comfortable because at least I knew people. Hey man, I'm on an interview with P. Yeah. But once they saw it, and you know, once I realized that a lot of people that I knew personally had done it, and when they told me they had done it, was like a 3-month span had passed. And you know, I started asking, you know, what happened and all that. I just went ahead and do it, man, because like I don't want the stress of not going anywhere, or like, you know, one of my friends wanted to do a show in Canada, and you know, you had to be vaccinated to be in Canada, and he changed his mind on doing the show. I didn't want to. I don't want something like that to happen to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just want the ability to move around free, and if that's what it's going to take on my behalf, you know, that's what I'm gonna do.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So, I ain't got no problem with it. But you know, everybody, as I said, we got 2 sides of the coin, and you know, everybody got valid points about what they want and what they don't want to do, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? We all got to live with our consequences, the actions that we take. So you know, if that's what you do. I just don't like the testing thing.
Man, that shit the worst, bro.
If you put something that far up my nose, I'm gonna punch you.
Yeah, that shit the worst.
Real for real. Like I'll get a panic attack if that happens. Like, yeah.
My only thing about it is I don't understand, you know, the hatred to somebody else because they have different stance on it. You know, like
everybody got to do.
So some people are that way. I don't get that part of it, man. But
yeah, everybody got to do what they got to do. Like, you know, I mean, you don't want it, that's fine. You want it, that's fine. Like, ain't nobody tripping. Like, you know, people demonizing other people, man. I'm not with that, man. If you don't want it, that's cool too. You know.
So Forward Steel, man, your company, your brand. So tell us who Forward Steel is, what Forward Steel is, what all you guys have going on. Oh, you got the apparel going on. I mean, of course, the coaching and training going on. So tell me about Forward Steel, so the people will know more about you guys. So those are people who don't know.
You know, I'm gonna say it like this, and I think some of my family might be mad at me. I'm not really tight with my family like that. You know what I'm saying? We cool. I'm not really tight like that. Mm-hmm. I built my brand to have something that I wanted. I treat people like they're my family. I treat people with the same respect as my family. I feel like the better I treat people, the more I could get out of them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I feel that's just my personal thing. I feel like the better I treat people, the more I could get out of them. I want to treat people how I expect to be treated. If I know if I treat people well, they can treat me well. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you don't treat people well, they can treat you well. That's just how I feel. I built this brand to be more of a family structure. That's why you don't really hear me saying clients. I say they're my teammates. It's a team. Yeah. You know what I'm
saying? I have heard you say that before. You're right.
Yeah, it's a team. It's my team. You know, we stronger than that, because if I call you a client, then I'm just in it for the money. I was coaching for years and years for free, just to get my name out there, just to let people know who I am, just to let them know that I have an athlete that have done something for nothing. I was just passionate about what I'm doing. Years ago, my mother said, if you pursue anything like you pursue bodybuilding, you can be successful. Anything. And I'm like, I'll stick with bodybuilding. I mean, my mother passed, but I wish she was alive today because she would have realized that, what I'm saying, I didn't change what I want to do. I just stayed with what I want to do. And, it paid off. It paid off. I'm passionate about this. We got the clothing line. We got, the sweaty ass off, the thermogenic cream to rub on your stomach areas. Hard to lose fat areas when you're training. I have another supplement line coming. SARMs. I think, if I'm not mistaken, SARMs might be banned pretty soon. Because it's a gray area right now, but I think they might ban it pretty soon. So, I might just catch the back end of the wave. Yeah. I just wanna drop a couple of supplements, not a whole lot. I maybe drop a protein powder. And I want to do EAAs because EAAs is so important. What I'm saying? Everybody do BCAAs when they know that BCAAs mainly benefits vegans, but they do it anyway. Can't knock that hustle. EAAs are not found in the regular things like BCAAs, so EAAs are more important. And I feel like I want to do important shit. I just don't want to follow the trend and just do what everybody doing because it looks good. I mean, every man to their own order, but I want to do what I want to do. I got two books in the works. I got a book, a logbook for bodybuilders, where you log, you write everything down that you eat on a daily basis and all that stuff. I might ask you, or your coach might ask you, I want to see that book, like put it in my hand and you can check and see, because you got to log everything down on a daily basis. Also in that book, also where you log what supplements you're taking, what supplements / performance enhancing drugs. Everything is in that book. So you and your coach has a very good idea of what you're doing, and you're staying on plan and you're holding yourself uncomfortable. I got an ebook that is about performance enhancing drugs for females. The performance enhancing drugs that I like, basically, and it tells you the anabolic to androgenic ratios, the side effects. It goes down the whole long line, actually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's very comprehensive in the ebook, with everything that I touch that I feel. Now they got a lot of other things people use, which is fine, but I just put what I prefer to use. And
I don't mean to cut you off. I think that's going to be a major one to put out, man, because a lot of female bodybuilders, bro, like that's where they struggle. That's a real sensitive area.
I've seen things that kind of mess with my head. Like, I've seen females buy things like, why? Do you know what this is gonna do to you? Like, do you know that there's no coming back from the side effects? It's like, not even if you stop it, the side effects don't go away. It's there for life. I mean,
I salute you, bro. I salute you for that book, man, because I think that's gonna be big and like literally a lifesaver for a lot of women. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say lifesaver. So I salute you for that one for sure.
Oh, sure, man. Thank you.
So next year, 2020, I guess 2022 we're going up on now. Forward Steel, athletes, your teams, or should I say your team, going into show season next year. You got any goals? You got anything you're looking forward to?
I got a whole new slew of amateurs for next year.
Okay.
A whole new slew of people who been just waiting their turn to go on, and it's just like, just pay your dues, just keep training, just keep eating, do what you're supposed to do. And, as long as you keep following this path, it's gonna be good, man. More so, the amateurs. I'm more excited about the amateurs. The pros, we gotta qualify for the Olympia in at least 2 or 3 different things this year. Next year. At least women's bodybuilding, at least women's physique, and women's figure. We got those athletes, and Rail got to show up too. He gotta win at least one. Qualified to go to the Olympia. We've been at this for a while. You know. So yeah, man. Everybody got to step it up. Well, the season actually, my season actually is already started. You know, the training and everything. So, everybody got to step it up this year. I mean, next year, but as I said, it's already begun. Every year I want to outdo myself from the previous year. When the season is over, it's over for me. There's no looking back on it. It's done. I'm moving on to the next year with big expectations.
So anybody who's looking to join your team, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, a lot of the contact information is on IG, and then there's the website www.forwardsteelfit.com, and that has more detailed information. All
right, and I'll make sure to drop all that in the caption of the video too, if anybody who didn't catch it or who needs to make sure they go back to it. Are you taking on clients? I shouldn't say clients, like you said. You're athletes. Yeah. Are you taking on new people right now?
Yeah. I mean, every time a show ends, and people see athletes of that nature that that I post, I always get a little buzz. So a lot of people come in. Well, the good thing about it, most of the people are pretty much online. The online presence is great. Yeah, and it's so split up now that I'm in the gym from 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I actually start training at 9. And I train people at 8 and 8:30, and then I start training at 9, and then I'm out by 10:30, and then I got to come back again at 6, and until about 8:30, and train the rest of people. But yeah. So yeah, definitely taking on new people, man. But as I say, I don't make no promises to people. I don't make no. This is it's just hard work and basic shit over here. Yeah. That's all it is.
I've always enjoyed dealing with you because you are a straight shooter. So this is what I would say. If anybody who's watching this video today, I'm gonna try to close it out, man. If you're looking for a coach that cares, looking for a coach, or should I say a place or a team where you're going to feel like a family, where you're going to grow and reach your maximum potential, I definitely think Odinga and his team are going to be the team for you, for Steel Fitness. I'm not necessarily advocating against any other coaches. I can only speak personally for myself and my personal dealings with it, man. You're talking about NPC Georgia Coach of the Year 2021. That says a lot, I think. 8 pros on this roster. This is why I challenge people to do. When you hire a coach, ask him how many pros he has. Then ask him how many pros he or she turned pro.
That part.
That's the question I want you to ask him, right? And again, this is not arrogance whatsoever. Because when you meet Odinga, you will know he's most definitely humble, a very humble dude. So it's not a layer of arrogance, but I think his roster and I think his resume speaks for itself. Bro, I want to thank you, man, for coming on. Chat with us.
Thank you for the opportunity, bro.
Once the ebook and everything comes out, maybe get you back on again later on and kind of talk a little bit more about that. I think the ebook for female bodybuilders is going to be huge.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
Definitely necessary.
So too. I just been modifying it. I could have dropped that since June, but I wanted so much information into it. I want it to be so comprehensive so that you give women a clearer guide to stuff that they could make decisions on their own without consulting anybody who can tell them to take some shit that they really don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all right, man. Odinga Mason in the Colosseum, brother. I appreciate you for stepping in, man. I'm gonna let you go now, and we'll definitely be back in touch with you. All right. Everybody check the caption for any @ any websites that was mentioned throughout the presentation. I feel like I'm presenting today. Any websites, any ads, any mentions that were mentioned today in this interview, this conversation will be found in the caption. And like I said, man, look out for Forrest Steele. The 2022 season gonna be crazy for him, man.
It's gonna be crazy.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, thanks, man.